Hello, everybody. It's Emily Petroff, and you are with myself and my lovely guest, Chase Buchanan. Chase, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm so excited about this conversation. So, for those of you who maybe have never tuned in before, this is the Naked and Brave podcast, and we talk about all kinds of things here on the podcast. And today, Chase and I are going to kind of debunk normal, right? What the fuck does normal even mean? So I want to do a little bit of housekeeping, though. For those of you, because I've never been live in this group with StreamYard. StreamYard is the application that I use to do the podcast. It won't show me who you are without you going to and allowing them to. You have to give StreamYard permission, or I won't know who you are. It just says Facebook user and then your comment. So you can go to, I think it's like Facebook, StreamYard, Facebook-StreamYard. Hold on, I'm going to look for you real quick so that you can. StreamYard.com/Facebook. Will give you, and I wanted us to be able to do this live in the group because this is so pertinent to the group. And before, I've just done it on my page and then shared it into the group, but there was quite a few people that were going to be here. So for those of you who are coming in now, if you can give StreamYard permission, then I can see who you are. And you do that by going to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you give them permission, and then I can see. Otherwise, it's just I can't see who you are. It just shows me Facebook user. And if this isn't going to work, then next time we'll have to just do it on my regular page because it will allow me. But in a group, there's a little bit more privacy settings and things. So anyway, now that we have a little bit of housekeeping out of the way, okay, it's Stacey. Yay, we're so glad you're here. All right, so I wanted us to start. Chase is going to tell us a little bit about his story, and it's so cool what we're going to get to talk about and how we're going to kind of debunk what normal is. And I think that so many of us use that word to kind of like compare ourselves to the population, right? So Chase, tell us a little bit about you, and I want you actually to go all the way back to birth. Like, start from where you were born, because there are some really important things that we're going to talk about that I think are really. Yeah, there's Jeremy. Jeremy said, "Is that better?" Yes. So Jeremy figured it out, you guys. So if you can give them permission, we'll be able to see who you are. So tell us a little bit about you, and I have some really good questions that I'm going to ask you as
All right, cool. Well, my name's Chase. I was born in a little town called Spruce Pine, North Carolina, way back in the backwoods, the western side of North Carolina. So we got the beautiful mountains, thick trees, no population, right? We got no people. Yeah, I don't know. I lived there until I was probably 13. 14 years old, and I moved to Montana with my dad because North Carolina was known for hitting a recession, and it just kind of stayed there, right? It didn't bounce back at all. There's no rebound. Job market went to hell. So my dad is actually from here. He was born in Great Falls, and he had a lot of family up here. So we came up here to stay with my grandmother, and kind of the rest is history.
Okay, so what happens, and you guys, I have had the absolute blessing and privilege of knowing Chase because he is married to my best friend for a number of years now, and we started, like, the three of us, right, would get together and kind of like have these big conversations about life and how limiting the things we create from our mind, and just all these different, we would pull apart all these kind of conversations. And one of the really cool things that came up from one of these discussions was like what it's like for men to go through at almost like, the insecurities that they have and some of the things that come up for men. And, I wasn't being as, I'm not a man, so I wasn't mindful of it, and I wasn't really in tune to it until we started to talk about this, and I'm like, holy shit, like, we need to let people know, right? And not only so that women know, but also so that other men feel comfortable talking about this. So what's the thing that happens when you're born to men, or doesn't happen to men, that sort of created this challenge for you all of your life?
So here in Montana, when a baby's born, right, the insurance companies, they, be it Medicaid, and that's what we always had, was Medicaid insurance. And here in Montana, Medicaid considers circumcision a necessity. Like, it's just something that happens, right? Like, they don't even really, I don't even think they question you. Down south, it's not considered a necessity, right? So either you pay for it out of pocket or it doesn't happen. So, and if it doesn't, if you don't get it, then you're considered poor, right? Like, you're considered a poor
So
family.
right off the bat, the stigma that is attached to being circumcised or not circumcised. And I think it's really important, like, the men who are listening, or if you're catching the replay, please let us know. And maybe you're too freaked out, right, to talk about it. And I'm so glad you're talking about it, because how many men are out there that have maybe had a similar experience to you? I just talked to somebody today, right, who called me to talk about, like, he's uncomfortable about his package size, right, and what that's like. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But so from birth, right, you're sort of labeled without even, like, you didn't have a choice in that. There was
Right, yeah.
You know, and so then talk about what that was like. I mean, you can like, when was the first recollection that you have of knowing that was, like, that you were poor because that, or that it was wrong, it was bad, it was like, it was different?
All right. So when I was younger, like, we did grow up pretty hard, right? But I remember going to class, and I was in, like, the 3rd grade, I think. And I remember this kid, and I truthfully don't think he was trying to be shitty, right? I don't think he's trying to be hateful. But I had wore my dad's shoes to school, right? And his coat. So I have this grown man's coat on, this grown man's shoes on. I'm in 3rd grade. And one of the kids was kind of like poking fun at the fact that I had big shoes on. And the kid who was kind of standing up for me, I think, was like, hey, don't, he's poor. He's probably not even circumcised, right?
Oh my
God. It got me
God.
thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, what does that even mean? Like, I am poor. I'm not circumcised. Like, oh my God, now there's this immediate burned thought in the back of your mind that goes, oh, not being circumcised is bad, right? And then now it's got this whole other meaning other than just being who I was, right?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my God, 3rd grade, you guys.
Yeah.
3rd grade.
Yeah. Yeah, it was early.
And the fact that kid knew enough, right, to use it as a way to what he thought would shield you.
Exactly. Defend me, huh?
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I know.
It's interesting, right? Because look at how our children, and look at how, like, we didn't have access to the information that our kids now have access to. So they're even more educated now than at our age, right? Or during when you were growing up. So, okay. So what was the next 3rd grade? So that's what, like 8, 9-ish, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I realized at that point, like, I didn't really have a choice in that, right? So then I would, like, walk around, like, trying to make it look normal, right? Like, make it look like everybody else's, and I did that for years, right? And then I remember going into 6th grade. So 6th grade in North Carolina is still elementary school, or is middle school. I'm sorry, it's middle school. So we're showering, right? And we're doing showering after PE and all that good stuff. And I remember going in the locker room, and these kids are in there, and every one of them are circumcised. All of them. I'm like the only one that's not, right? And, like, I remember kids, like, looking at me funny to the point where I wouldn't even shower. Like, I would absolutely not shower. you know, because I went walking in there thinking whatever, you know, and I get in there and all of a sudden it's like, oh God, look, dude, did you see Chase? Like what's wrong with that guy? You know what I mean? Like, so you get these like insecurities that are just like surfacing quick,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was horrible. And like mine's not as big as theirs, and it's all like theirs is like this. I don't know. Like it was horrible. I'm like, it was
So
sucks.
at what age, and for those of you guys who are here listening and you want to comment, please do. At what age do you remember, Chase, feeling like you had, like, when does the package size start to become a conversation either in your head and or with, you know, your peers?
When I went to shower in the locker room, so I figure 6th grade, that's what, 12? I was about 12 years old, right? I hadn't discovered myself really at all. I didn't know much about it other than the fact that it's a penis and it looks I mean, shit, I didn't think nothing of it, right? Until I showered in the locker room, and then all these other guys that are in there are like, dude, like, what the fuck is wrong with your dick, right? Like, I'm like, damn, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know anything was wrong with it, right?
Yeah, right. Are they saying that to you? Like, are they having that conversation? And how did you feel that?
Well, I remember one of like the very first thing was like when I walked in there, I go to get in the shower, and this guy goes, "Hey, dude, why didn't your parents cut your penis? Like, why did they not snip you?" And I'm like, "Fuck, man, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, is that something that people do? Like, yours does look different than mine, you know." So then you like try to go through that weird phase where you like pull it back and try to make it look like all the other kids, and then they're just like, "Dude, you're weird, right?" So I don't know. Yeah.
And so amidst the insecurity of size, right, and it looking different than everyone else's, I wanted to talk about like what are some of the other insecurities that come up for men? Because I know, like, for women, and this is true for us too, but not in the same way, right? Like these things, these conversations that we have with ourselves that start to, we put layers to hide, to be, right, to fit in, to cover up, to be normal, start from so young, and it's so unconscious, right? It's happening so unconsciously because we're trying to avoid sticking out, we're trying to avoid being embarrassed, we're trying to avoid, you know, all of that stuff. So, what other things can you remember being insecure about? The things that I hear now I don't get to talk to these guys that I'm talking to now about their childhood necessarily, but the things that I'm hearing now are more about like their adult, like as an adult man, here are the things that I'm insecure about, right? Here are the things that I'm, you know, but I think they stem from a long ways back, and we don't really. So can you talk a little bit about just insecurities, body and or other insecurities that you know you had from being a child?
My mom had a lot of boyfriends, right? And I honestly don't think I can think of one good one other than the one that she's with now, right? Like they were all super abusive, lot of sexual trauma with them, right? And they like make you feel disgusting. You know what I'm saying? And like you're like this, you're the problem, right? So I grew up thinking I'm poor, right? Not circumcised. I live in a shitty house, right? My parents are divorced. I'm like the run of the mill white trash, right? And you grow up thinking that you're white trash. And then with that comes like an attitude, like a persona that you have to live, right? All right, cool. I'm white trash. So white trash is this. So that means I have to be this.
Isn't that fascinating, right? Like we just assume the role that is handed out, right?
Yeah, very young too, right? Like I knew because I was called white trash for a long time, right? And then you reach a point where you're just like, well, shit. All right, so that's what it is. I'm white trash. I can be that, right? And then you're afraid to like be anything else because you see what a rich kid looks like, right? And you know that I'll never have that, so I need to be okay having this, right? At least I have this, right? You know, like keeps you from like growing, right? It keeps you from understanding or looking at anything outside of your little box that you're in.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like Jeremy said, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and God, isn't that so true, right? And I think that thing that's so interesting about no matter what, I just read the book, The Cast by Isabel Wilkerson, and it's fantastic. If any of you have not read it, you should. It's really, really mind-blowing. But right, so I'm going to use the word caste. No matter what caste system, right, we grew up in, there are things about it that limit us, right, to what that like box is, right? So this is not just about like poor versus rich. This is just like about wherever I was, and whatever I was told is a lot of what I assumed and then continue to perpetuate, right?
Right. Yeah. It's like when you think about programming a computer, right? That computer doesn't know anything before you take the information and put it in it. Right. And I feel like that's how we are when we're kids. Like we grow up, man, we're totally innocent and blind to all these things. Right. And as kids, I also feel like we're dismissed a lot. Right. So if we have insecurities or we have things that bother us and we go and talk to an adult figure in our life, adults are real quick to say, come on, man, you'll get over it. You'll grow out of that. Right. So then we're learning a whole nother set of insecurities. Right. So now I'm learning I can't even talk about my shit. Right. So now I need to suppress it. Right. Yeah. Okay. So no adult wants to hear me. So keep it here. Right. Like put that shit to the back of the brain, deal with what you got to deal with, move the fuck on. Right.
Absolutely. I feel like this is such a an old saying that I use from time to time to illustrate my experience, but like, and how many of us have had this experience? Like, you don't speak until you're spoken to, right?
Sure.
Children are better seen, not heard.
Seen, not heard. Yeah. I was just talking about that today. I'm like, and people used to believe that. Like, I mean, that's like that umbrella theory, right? Like, you children need to be seen, not heard.
Yeah. So, okay. So, any other like. So then as you kind of grew up and you moved to Montana, to a different part of the country, would you say that you had a similar, like the experience was still the same in terms of like your body image and the things that were going on for you, or was it a little bit different?
So when we moved up here, I already had like this foundation built under me of this person that I am, right? So when I meet these kids up here who are completely different, now I'm like this cool kid, right? Because I've got an accent. I'm from North Carolina. I speak y'all and twang and that, So they were really drawn to that at first. So I thought, well, shit, man, I can't let them know any of the crap that was there. Leave that over there, and let's make up this person, right? Who have I always wanted to be? Oh, I'm going to be that, right? So you start making up these lies and these fabricated stories that aren't even close to true, right? And then I one day had to pay the piper for that, right? So now up here I have this, well, bro, we looked at this, and that's you weren't even remotely close to that, right? What do you mean you live in a trailer, bro? You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. So then I was like, well, fuck. Now I'm the fucking poor liar kid in Billings, right? And then here comes a whole nother fucking bunch of insecurities. Now I'm like, so what can I do to fit in, right? And it was about 8th grade-ish, 8th, 9th grade, I found methamphetamine. I didn't try it, right? I just kind of learned what it was, and I'm like, so okay, so this is what these kids look like me, right? These kids kind of match the bill for. But I have a little bit more confidence than them, so maybe I can jump in there with them, and they'll look to me like this leader, right? So it was about end of sophomore year. I was a little older than everybody because I failed kindergarten and I failed 6th grade.
Okay.
So I was a little older. I was about 17. I was a sophomore, and I tried meth for the first time. And like I got in with that crowd, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can do this. This is easy, right? And now drugs became my way to kind of hide my person, like who I am.
Right. So there was like a level of like fitting in, right?
Yeah,
With
sure.
it, as well as numbing out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Like letting go of like any way to disconnect from this bullshit reality that keeps punching me in the face. Right. I didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
So I masked it any way that I could. Right. If it was being the fucking loud kid, right? The outcast, the misfit, right? And I was okay being that. I could do that. I was good at that. Right. And it gave me a little bit of confidence being good at something. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So I want to kind of jump, we're going to come back to this a little bit, but I want to talk about when was the first time, and I don't feel like this is, I was just saying this the other night on the live that you guys were so graciously holding space for me as I was like,
yeah,
sniff crying and
loved it.
the ugly cry, right?
Love that.
I don't feel like this work that we do on ourselves, whether it's about loving the external image or whether it's about like finding the things from the inside that we never appreciated before, I don't feel like it's a box to check, right? It's a journey. It's a path. It's not a destination. And when was the first time that you can remember, like, questioning all of that shit that had been there, right? Like looking and going, wait a minute, maybe there's nothing wrong with my penis. Wait a minute, maybe this doesn't, maybe it's okay, or maybe I could look at it as that it is beautiful. And like what about, like, I know you kind of went through this thing where you stopped smoking and you gained some weight and you were feeling bad about yourself and like so,
horrible.
Yeah. But
horrible
not because Stacey loved you. There was nothing.
Yeah, I know, dude. She's great. She's like, I've never met a more understanding human in my life, right? Like she's like the most accepting person I have ever met, ever. And that was new to me too, right? Because I mean, every girl I'd ever been with was real. You're doing this and you can do better here, or you're not doing enough here, and you're this and that, and you stack on all that shit, and you're like, God damn. Gross, right? So with Stacey, last year, I think it was like February, March of last year. Like I wouldn't let her see me naked.
Now
like,
this is together. I think this is fascinating, you guys, and I'm so proud and thankful that you guys are so willing to talk about this, because it is about being brave, and it is about like knowing that this is fucking normal. This is real. This is not, and the more people that I talk to, the more that I know that this is true, that this is more the norm than what we think, and the reasons that we hide, right? So you guys have been together for a minute. You guys have been together for a minute at this point. It's not like you just met, right? So you've been
4 years
thinking that you're hiding for a while, right?
Yeah. I actually tried to convince myself that she didn't know I was circumcised, right? That she thought I was circumcised. And I'm like, dude, I guess she knew from the very beginning, but I had this like
5 years, she said.
5 years. 5 years she knew. And I'm like, nah, I'm doing good. I'm hiding it, right? She don't know. So I was in the shower and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Well, here's how, like, she went to go look at me in the shower one time, right? And I like ripped around. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not ready. Don't look at me, right? And that I sat with that for a long time, for probably close to a year, right? And I'm like, why am I doing that to myself, right? She doesn't care, right? But then you've got this little devil on your shoulder here that's going, she does care. It does matter. Like you've been told it's gross your whole life. Like it's something
the program
nobody likes, right? So one day I was getting out of the shower. I said, fuck it, man. I'm just going to fucking let her see me naked. I even took a little extra time drying off, right? I'm like, oh God, I'm as dry as I can get. She's not coming in. But like clockwork, man, she walked right in there and was just like, oh, good for you. I'm like, oh, she noticed. Like, oh, yay. And it's like this huge, like, here, you can have that. I don't have to carry that anymore. Thank God. Fuck, it's ridiculous. It's stupid. I've never let anybody see me fully naked. Never. I've just never done it. I've been told, I've been put down my whole life for it. I've been made to feel like a gross human being my whole life for that, right? Mom's boyfriends, like people in school, just society even, right? I remember having a conversation with a girl one time in 7th grade and I'm like, she started talking about something. She was one of the first girls that was ever like sexually active in our class. And she was mentioning something. She's like, I'd never get with somebody who's not circumcised, right? So it caught my attention. So immediately I turn around. I'm like, oh, so why not? Like what is it? She goes, it's fucking disgusting. It's gross. Like they don't, blah, 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 blah. There's all these things wrong with it. You got to work to keep it and all this shit. And I'm like, okay, cool, right? You want to challenge it, but you're embarrassed, right? You're talking right. You're like, dude, don't ever let anybody know. You just keep that shit to yourself. Leave it alone, right? So yeah.
Yeah. And so what did not only taking that weight off and letting it not have to carry it anymore, what did that do for your relationship?
Oh man, like I feel like it really strengthened our relationship, because I felt like nobody likes, well, I can't say nobody, but I don't like feeling like I'm hiding something, right? Or like there's this part of me that you don't know, but we're so intimate, right? We're so intimate. You know everything about me. We went through all this stuff, but there's this one little piece that you don't know about, and it's probably the heaviest piece of me, right? So it's got a lot of weight to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it gave me like this sense of new too, right? So it was kind of sexy. I'm like, fuck yeah, I want you to look at it all the time. I want you to not look at it, right? Here's a picture. Blow up your phone with some videos. I don't know, just kind of this cool thing.
I love it. You know, it's so interesting. I think it's so symbolic for the way that we are in our life, whether it's with our significant other or just with people in general, right? We hide these parts and pieces of ourselves so that we can be accepted, except for that it's exhausting, right?
Yeah.
It's so exhausting, and it often is the very thing that will, like, I spent so long like watering myself down, right? Like not being this loud, ridiculous, like, crazy person that I am. And all the while, right, the people that would love me and celebrate me for who I am couldn't even find me because they didn't know what was in there, right? They didn't even know. So it's like I went about kind of creating tolerance, right? People who would just tolerate me rather than people who would celebrate me. And that's what I feel like you're saying. Like there was this ability for her to be able to celebrate and support you in a way that she never could before because of holding back. And she loved you even more after that, right? Like,
yeah, she even told me that. She goes, I didn't think I could love you anymore. Right? And I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, goes back to that being in a box thing. When you're stuck in that little tiny box and you've got this is the only way it is. This is all I can see. Right? You can't even fathom letting somebody know you like that.
Right.
Right? It's not even a question you ask yourself. Right? So tolerance to you is a form of celebration, because you don't even know what the fuck being celebrated even is, right?
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. And so when you think about like women's role, and not specifically Stacey, because I don't think that I've ever heard or feel in any way that she contributed to any of that stuff that we're talking about. But I do think, like what you were talking about a moment ago with the seventh grade girl, right? And that can you give me examples? Because I think as women, we often, like, I hear a lot of like harsh or radical feminism, right? Like down with the man and women are empowered, and I get it, right? And I am more of the mindset, which is why I wanted to allow men to be in this group too, is because I believe that we need each other, right? And that needs to be all inclusive. It's not just about one, gender or the way that people identify, right? And we don't even have to talk about men and women, although this conversation is more about that specifically. But I kind of want to know from your point of view, like growing up as a man and hearing the things that women say and knowing, like, we're critical as fuck. Like, we're worse than men, I think, a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. So when growing up in the house that I grew up in, like men have a very specific role, right? So the role that men play are the protector, right? You go to work every day, you come home, you have these expectations on what your house should look like because your wife is at home doing those things, right? And even when I was young, I'm like, that does not sit with me, right? It just doesn't click with me that something's not right there, right? So why should I have to do this, or why should she have to do this, right? I mean, fuck, if she feels like she wants to do this, then step the fuck back and let her do it, right? But like with Stacey is the one who goes to work here, right? And I'm with the kids. And in society, right? I mean, if we're going to go to that, I mean, it's frowned upon, right? Like, you're not a man, dude. You know what I mean? You're not a man to let some woman take care of you. You're not a strong, masculine man, right? You're not a man's man because I take care of my kids, right? Or because I stay at home with them or fulfill that role. I think the roles are labels, right? And I feel like we're so blinded by the labels that we can't let each other just be humans and do whatever the fuck it is that we feel like we're doing.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting. Like I can, Stacey and I were talking about this, and I talked to a couple of other women about this, as like, and we were talking about more in regard to women, but I think it's true about the way that we are with men too. You know, I've been the bullier, right? Like, I've been the one who sat in judgment of another woman, or and I think when a bunch of women get together, not always, right? But I've had this experience where a bunch of women get together and we just talk shit, right? Like,
sure.
we're and we, you know, I've had this conversation with many of my girlfriends, like, penises are not attractive, right?
No, they're gross. It's like God had some spare parts and he just went, there you go. You're welcome.
But the reality of it is that I now have a different point of view about that, right? And even to be completely transparent, having the conversation that you and I and Stacey had a couple of weeks ago really was like, holy shit, Emily, you need to take a step back and you need to look at where you are creating judgment, even though some of the things that we're joking about and the judgments we're making, you know, like, they're jokes and it's funny. Like, you really need to figure that out. Like, you really need to look at, right, where is that coming from? Because, right, if I have a judgment about it, how can I receive it in a way that's so sacred and so, right, like this special creation and
right.
and so what if it is that it's beautiful, right? What if it is, and I never had that point of view before? And I think it's because there was so much resistance to, right, like, I was attracting in these experiences from, like, you know, there were not great experiences for me, right? So there was like this level of resistance, but I wasn't taking responsibility for being the creator of my life, right? Now that I am, I can see that, and I'm like, I see penises in a totally different way than I ever had before. Right? Like,
yeah. So before I got with Stacey, right, when I was married once before, and she was very blunt, right? She was very blunt. She very much spoke her mind too. But she was very unfaithful, right? So, God dang, man. She used to get mad, I think, at me for the sex wasn't good enough. She'd tell me, oh my God, that's it? Like, so I got to go finish myself. You know what I mean? Like, if you were bigger, right? Comments like that and stuff like that. So I'm just like, holy shit. So when I got with Stacey, I'm like, Jesus, dude, she's an 11, right? She's an 11 out of 10. You know what I'm saying? So you really better fucking bring your goddamn game, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to make her love you, right? Like, make her love you. right? So that was an interesting bit too, and getting to know Stacey over these last 5 years and fallen as in love with her as I can possibly be was one of the most gratifying experiences of my life, right? Because as men too, I feel like we have this, we're taught from a young age, like you need to have you need to do good in school, right? Play sports and be athletic. Girls will love you if you do, right? You need to save up 5 years worth of fucking money to buy a goddamn engagement ring, right? So, and if you don't have these things, then you're never going to attract that level of woman, right? So here I am, fucking drug addict, right? I mean, I was fresh out of drug addiction. I was in drug court, treatment, 3 kids, divorced, living at my dad's house, right? What the fuck? I'm like, there's no way, right? And she'd ask me to. We'd be sitting there. She'd be like, hey, do you need a ride? And I'm like, fuck no, listen, no, I don't need anything. I'm good. I'm cool. And then she'd ask me again, do you need a ride? Then it would sit in my head, and I'm like, well, fuck, man. I do need a ride, but I can't even talk to you, right? You're in a different category than I am. You're not even in the same league as me, right? So having to push that aside just a little bit was hard, right? You're taught if you grow up this way, you're this person, you get this girl, right? Only guys who grow up like this and are over here on this side doing this get these girls, right? So, I mean, shit, it was one insecurity after another.
Yeah. Would you say that the insecurities that you have were more internal for you than they were external? I mean, like the big one, obviously, right, is the package, right? And what would you say that outside of that, that it was more internal? Like mental and
Oh yeah, completely. All mental, right? I always used to say too, like I am in my head about this, right? Like I would run through a whole conversation with somebody, right? Before I ever spoke a word, and however that conversation ended in my head would determine whether or not I would even come speak to you.
Yeah.
That makes sense? Like, so I would go through these scenarios. I'd be like, oh man, if I go talk to her, she's going to do this. And this is how it's going to go. Fuck that. I don't want nothing to do with it, right? I'm going to go over here and talk to this one, right? She looks like she's having a hard time, right?
Let me protect myself, right? Not vulnerable. And how often do we not really go for it because it's not safe, right? Because we want to protect ourselves from having that experience. And I feel like that's the thing that I want us to, like, that's my passion and my purpose in life on the planet, is to, you know, create opportunities for us to really go for it, right? And to let the fear not be, it's not going to go away, right? Like people say, when I'm not afraid, I'll do it, right? When the fear subsides, it's not going to subside. Like you just have to put it in the back seat, right? You got to feel the fear and do it anyway.
That was like that was one of the most powerful things anybody's ever said to me, right? So since I was little, I've had fear, right? Around everything that I do. Every choice that I make has some kind of fear around it, right? And it's kept me from doing a lot of things, right? Waking up weekend, when I did that, hearing, because he said, well, what are you hoping to get out of being here, right? I said, I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to have fear around every decision I make. And he goes, well, that's unrealistic. Like, that's stupid. What if I told you to be afraid and do it anyway? And I'm like, holy shit, you're right. Like, holy shit, you're right. Like, don't not be afraid. Be afraid. That's very okay. But do it anyway, right? Oh, God, that was such a prominent thing for me. I loved him. I loved hearing him say that.
I loved it too. It was a big deal for me. So what advice would you have? I talked to a guy this morning who I've known for several years, and he's in the group, and you know, he's messaged me a couple of times, like saying like, gosh, I'm not really sure if I should be here. Did I get an invite by accident? It feels very like there's a lot of feminine stuff going on. I feel weird seeing women's photos here. And I'm like, no, it's here. You belong here, right? You're supposed to be here. And and then, you know, today we had a conversation that was so cool. Like he, you know, he was telling me about some of the things that he's been doing on his own to really, like, he's like, I am learning some things about myself, and I am starting to appreciate my body in a way that I never did before. And,
Sure.
you know, those are my words, not his, but I'm kind of just like paraphrasing our conversation. And he said,
Sure.
you know, the thing I really wanted to talk to you about, or just to sort of, I guess, you know, say is that the thing that really is holding me back from, because he was asking me about how the naked hiking went, you know, and how that, what that was like. And
Yeah.
and
Wow,
so
phenomenal. How cool. I was so proud of you when I saw that picture too. I'm like, God, you guys are great.
he said, I feel like I can't do something like that because I'm a big guy and I have an average size penis, but it doesn't
Hey.
really appear to be average size because of my frame. And I gave him some feedback about what I thought about it from a woman's perspective and just from a consciousness kind of point of view. But I would love to hear what you might have to say to all the men out there who are maybe still in judgment of their package size and feel insecure about that, or have had experiences like the one with your ex-wife where they've been told that they're not enough, or that it's not enough, or, you know, like what would be, I would love to hear from you what your thoughts about that are.
So if first off, if you're with somebody who doesn't make you feel like you are absolutely the best thing that they've ever been with, right? You're not with the right person, right? Something else too is like you're your own worst enemy, right? A lot of that comes from like your mind ripping you apart, right? You're internalizing this whole thing that means so much to you because of what you've been told by other people, right? That you can't allow yourself to break free from that, right? So I feel like if we could look at ourselves, right, and see us as beautiful people and let go of what somebody else thinks of us, then we're already ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know. I feel like we're really, really hard on ourselves. As guys, we're hard on ourselves. We're growing up thinking that big dicks are where that's what's going to get you somewhere. Right. Even me too. Right. And he said his was at least he can say his is average. Right. I was like, fuck. I'm more than I'm saying, dude. Good job. Right. You're doing a great job.
You're saying your size, you don't feel is average, and you're fine with that, and it's not an issue for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm totally cool with it. But finding that within myself was the biggest challenge, right? Like having somebody there with you who accepts you for you and doing that too, that's great. I mean, that's what we're looking for, right?
Yeah.
But don't stop looking, right? Just because somebody has this skewed opinion or this wild belief that you're not what everybody says you should be, right?
Yeah.
You're perfect, man.
I think that's a really, really good point. The other thing that we talked about that I think is important to mention, and I think that we all need, this is like another level of consciousness, right? Like it can't always be about what someone else thinks, right? It can't always be, we can't always use another person to, is it helpful for them to validate where we are? Sure. And what if we didn't need that either, right? Like what if it was that we just walked into, you know, that practice of loving our body the way that it is, right? And the way that it isn't, without that external validation. And, you know, one of the things I was talking to him about was, you know, he said, I'm losing some weight. I'm going to feel a little bit better. You know, I'm feeling a little better about myself. And, you know, some people told me, well, don't lose too much weight. You know, like you're just fine the way you are. And I said to him, I want you to really think about that. And I want you to consider that because, and this goes, I talked to another guy about, you know, he said, I've got this paunch, you know, this, my belly is, and that I never had for all these years. And now I'm super insecure about it. And, you know, the thing that's super interesting to me about that is that those people were well-intentioned when they told him don't lose too much weight, right? You're fine the way you are. And while they were saying don't lose too much weight, they were also telling him like, don't change. And what is it that we're as human beings, that is our job, I feel like, right? Is
just to change.
To change and to develop.
Sure.
So what if instead, and this is a message for those of you who are out there telling people not to change, telling them that they're just fine the way they are, which is not bad. There's nothing wrong with telling people they're fine the way they are. That's a good message. And what if it's that we tell them that they're no matter what they decide they want to be, that we'll
Sure.
Right? What if it's that we tell them that no matter what, no matter what size they are, that we love them and that we'll support them, right? And we tell ourselves that too, right? Like no matter what, right? What if I'm 300 and something pounds or 500 and something pounds or 150 pounds? Like the size, we've got to get out of this like, it's like the meat and potatoes of all the things that keep us kind of constricted is like what is going on with the size of my body? What's going on with the size of my package? What's going on? How does my person or how do my people view me? And am I going to be okay with them or for them? And I'm like, man, we got to stop this, right? Like,
yeah, we got to stop doing that. We rely so much on other people to make us feel validated and heard, to make us feel happy, to make us feel proud of ourselves, right? When if we looked at ourselves every day and went, man, I'm proud of you. God, I'm proud of you. Or you're beautiful. You're exactly what you're supposed to be. You do you, right? Everything else will fall into place.
mm-hmm.
If we could learn that programming as children, right? You're birthing an entire generation of humans who are not based on materialistic, societal conditioned, unrealistic expectations of what your love should look like, right? Shit, if Stacey based falling in love with me based strictly on what was in front of her, I don't think she ever would have gone for that, right? I mean, shit, 3 kids, all that crazy shit, right? Who does that on purpose, right?
We're such a good, Stacey said we are teaching our children. I do think that we, as we, with vulnerability and with authenticity and telling the truth about our stories. I was telling April last night as we were doing our naked hiking, like part of that experience for me was like, this is what's true, like this is what my body is, right? And standing in that and being in that feels really in integrity to me, whereas for the longest time I wasn't, like, it was still true that my body was like that, right?
But it's all in how you saw yourself too, right? Like when you started seeing yourself as this beautiful goddess, right? Everything starts changing, right? Even the people in your life will start changing. You'll stop being surrounded by people who don't see you as beautiful.
Yeah.
People who don't see you as this majestic human, right? Like people around you will start to mesh with your energy because all the other ones that didn't mesh are being pushed out.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it happens almost like without even doing, you just focus on you, right? And all of a sudden, right, the way that you, everything has changed, right? And it's just, it's magnificent.
Yeah, I think it's you that put that thing on Facebook a while back and said, ain't it funny how nothing changes, but you look back and everything is different?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. So I wanted you to talk a little bit, just for a moment, about you have been like you kind of created this group for men in our local community to come and to tell me a little bit about the group, because I feel like the other thing that's so cool and why I wanted us to talk about these really difficult and important topics today is because I want to inspire people to be okay with themselves. I want to inspire people, and especially men and women, the men that you have in your life, encourage them to open themselves up, right, a little bit more. But talk a little bit about the group and your vision for it, and or just the purpose of the group that you help to moderate and facilitate.
Sure. So I got asked to do a group a few months ago, and at first I was kind of resistant to it because I didn't really know what she wanted me to do. So I kind of took it into my own hands a little bit, and it's become a place for men who don't really fit the bill, right? And let me start saying too, like anybody's welcome, right? Anybody can come there. Something I tell them is like, check your ego at the door, right? So when you come in here, dude, I don't want you to be anything other than who you are, right? And maybe we can learn from each other a little bit, right? You could be this big, strong, macho man, right? Who feels like that your way of doing things is just the way that it is, right? But maybe you can come in and learn from us that because we don't do things exactly how you do them doesn't make me any less of a masculine, strong man than you, right? And it's just a safe place for guys to kind of come in and feel what they need to feel. Like there's not a whole lot of framework to it because I kind of like how our conversations can go from astrology and crazy stuff that goes on in our universe to having a horrible day and this is why. Like, and I feel safe with you guys to be able to say this in front of you, you know? So
Yeah.
It's turning into quite the thing. We had 2 people when we started, and I think we're up to 7 or 8.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what do you get from, like, you're giving a lot, right? I watch you in your life and the way that you navigate the planet, and you're you're giving and giving. And so where are the spaces and places? I feel like that also, even though you're giving a lot there, you're getting some things back. Like, will you talk a little bit about that reciprocation and the receiving part for you?
Shoot.
I didn't prepare him, you guys, for some of the questions.
I don't know. I'm just like, I get a lot out of knowing that I helped somebody, right? And when they come to me at the end of the group and they give me a hug and they're like, geez, man, like we didn't even know something like this existed in Billings, or we didn't even know that there's people out there like you, right? Like it makes me feel good, right? To know that. And I'll have people like, I have a really good friend of mine who hits me up on Facebook, and we weren't friends really before the meeting, right? And he'll get a hold of me sometimes just to say, hey man, you know, how's it going? Like, thanks for the group the other day. Like you really bring a lot of cool perspectives, right? Or you really are just a genuinely humble guy, right? Like, and I want people to know that about me, right? Like I don't put on this show, right? For people, like this really is just me. It's just who I am. And I know it kind of doesn't fit the bill of what men are like, right? And people sometimes are kind of resistant to like, what's the ulterior motive? Like, what are you doing this for? Right. I'm literally just doing it for you. Like, you know, for me, right. to have that space. And it helps me too, right. To be able to go in there and talk about whatever. Right.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a perfect segue into just talking for a minute about what we are going to collaborate on, because I'm really excited about it. So when I started this movement a couple of months ago, I had no idea what was going to be born from the different ideas that were going to come to life and the different things that were going to happen. And from week 1, I've been getting messages, and I've shared this a couple of times in the group, right? I've been getting messages from men, similar to the one that I spoke to this morning, but also from lots of other men saying like, hey, we have body image issues too, right? Like we just don't allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to talk about that our weight bothers us, or we're not allowed to talk about, that we've got, a small penis, or we're not allowed to, like, we don't talk about, right? Girls, like Stacey Hess, if you're watching this, I would love to know if you're watching the replay even, posted yesterday in the group this TikTok video of this woman singing about like the itty bitty titty committee, right? So it's like women can talk about their boobs. Women can talk
Sure.
about parts. Women can talk about, but men aren't supposed to do that, you know? And so, I mean, I literally get at least 3 to 5 messages a week, right? If not more sometimes, from men who are saying like, hey, what about me? Hey, we, you know, is this group for me? Can I be here? Am I okay to be here? And that they're struggling too. And so because of that, I wanted to be able to offer something to the men as well. Like I did a 5-week masterclass for just the women, and we just wrapped up. We're still doing a few things in there, but we just wrapped up like last week. And, you know, it's been really cool to see what has transpired for the women that were in that group and the things that they're creating in their life as a result of the work that we're doing in there. And so I wanted to offer a 5-week masterclass to the men also. And there's all kinds of different things that we work on. And I thought, oh my God, who would be a better person to collaborate with than Chase freaking Buchanan? Like, oh my God. Because although I feel like I have things that I can offer to any human, right? A different point of view and a level of consciousness, reframing the way that we think about things. Sure. I also feel like it's important to have a male perspective, and for you to be able to help me hold space for them to grow and for things to do for them to do. So I just am excited about the opportunity for us to have some folks, and I guess we'll see, right? I don't know if it's gonna be like we're gonna have a whole bunch of people be like, yes, let me in, I'm ready to go, or if it's gonna be like crickets because they're, you know, not willing, or they're too afraid. Who knows, right?
Right. Yeah, I feel like too, like you said, you have guys messaging you saying, hey, is this okay? I feel like, dude, if you messaged me to say, hey, is it okay that I'm here? This is absolutely the place for you, right? And you're right. Like as men, we're taught to just stick it back here, right? You deal with your own shit inside. Don't let them see you cry, right? Don't let them see you be vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is gonna be great. I am absolutely ecstatic to be a part of that and to help along any way that I can.
Yeah. So we'll put the details. I'll put the details out in the next day or two, so that when if you guys are interested and you want to find out more information about it, it is going to be 5 weeks long. It is facilitated online, so you can be anywhere in the world. You don't have to attend any of there will be lives like this where Chase and I will kind of talk about, and you know, you guys have an opportunity to ask questions and, you know, that kind of thing. And then there will also be like Zoom meetings where we all get together, but you don't have to attend any of those things. A lot of the women in the other group have busy schedules, and they're going back and doing the homework and the actual work in the group on their own time and their own schedule. So you're getting the value and the benefit from being there, even if you can't come to the things. Just the energy of it and just seeing what's transpiring for the other people is helps shift a lot of stuff. And I think too, the other thing that's cool about all the topics that we're going to cover, you know, there's a lot of men that I've talked about who have recently went through like a divorce, or they've got stuff going on in their relationship. Like it's a private group, by the way. So nobody, unless they're in the group, nobody knows that you're in the group. So it's completely confidential. And you get to talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about, right? You get to do, and we'll help you facilitate the work, and we'll customize things to fit to what's going on in your life. So, oh, Stacey, she's biased, but I fucking love you too. She said, you're both so amazing. So somebody said, do you get naked in cold weather or just in summer? I don't know who said that, but well, I'll let Chase answer first, and then I'll go.
Well, it wasn't until last year that I really even got naked, other than getting in the shower. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get naked at all. But man, I'm getting there. I'm getting more and more comfortable being naked. Summer, winter, it don't matter, right? Yeah. I don't think there's a preference on a time.
Yeah. I hate winter even when I'm clothed. Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. I'll bite. I hate it too. I'm like, I'm a desert guy, dude. Put me in the sun.
God. However, where was I just? When I did my photo shoot, my naked photo shoot in Red Lodge on my birthday, you guys, it was so cold that day and my body was fine with it. So sometimes I think my mind is really getting in the way of, the way that
the energy around it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, any last things that you want to send people off with that we didn't cover today, my dear, or anything that you want to kind of add?
Just that I feel like, on a side note, groups like this is how we change the world, right? And like we say that a lot. Like, and I feel like every human has this moment where they're like, I want to change the world. It's groups like these and mindsets like these and a willingness to just be open to receive information to change, right? And to really make this place an entirely different place than it was, right? And to break free from those societal conditions and expectations that people have put on us our whole life, like even from the time we were born. Yeah. And I totally stand by what you're doing in this movement, and I appreciate you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. You're absolutely right. It is. We have proof every day, right? Of people that are shifting the way that they see themselves and the way that they see the world and the way that they're showing up. And my vision, I have lots of them, but is that there's so much pain and suffering in the world, and so much of it is self-inflicted, and we don't even know it.
Right. Yeah.
What's happening, in the mind, and so to be able to take control of our thoughts and our belief systems, and to reprogram the program and do it differently, right? Like, there are some things that we can't change. There are things that are happening in the world that you and I won't probably ever be able to touch.
Got no control over it, right?
Wow, right? And what we can do some things about, we're doing that, and it makes me so. That guy today, he said, "You are really changing." Like, I see it, right? We're watching it, and it's just like, I'm so blessed to be a part of this, journey. This being with everyone that's here and supporting them, and I just feel so much love, and I know that I wouldn't be having that experience if I didn't take all my clothes off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh God, which is so crazy, because that is not like I was just telling someone yesterday and today, like, the whole point of the fucking thing was not about being naked, right? It's not about being naked. It's about, like, when Tony Robbins uses the word fuck when he's training and teaching people, right? It's to get them to wake up. It's like
a wow factor. Yeah.
Right? It's like, whoa, wait, what did he say? That's what this is about, right? It's like people go, and he said it worked, because I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? Are people going to be okay with this? Like, what is going on, right?
Yeah.
And although it also draws, you guys, I get like 50 fucking Facebook requests a day, friend requests a day from super creepers, right? So it draws a whole other audience as well. And I feel like the right people are in the room, right? Like, the right people are here, and we continue to attract more of them the more that we go out and be our authentic selves. And so I'm grateful for you, Chase, and I'm grateful for all of your support always, and you too, Stacey, and so thank you for spending time with me today, and being so willing to be vulnerable and authentic. And I hope that for those of you who've been here with us or who are watching the replay, Chase is very, very open and willing. And so I think is it okay if they have questions or thoughts, they can reach out to you?
Please do. Please do. And I'll answer the best I can, and try to help any way that I can.
And you can also put us in a group message, right? Like
Sure.
I'm happy to support you guys in any way that I can, and we're all in this together. So thank you guys for joining us. Have an amazing rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and if you need us, you know how to find us. And I hope that you enjoyed this as much as I did. If not, well, so sorry about your luck.
See you on the next one, right?
Yeah, that's right. Move on. Okay, guys. Well, have an amazing day. Thanks so much. And my hat is off to you for being naked and brave. Talk to you guys next episode. Bye.
Bye.